Carol, we do not believe we have a quorum, so we're going to wait until we see for sure that we're going to or not going to. But welcome to everyone that's here, but we're waiting now on a quorum. Okay? I'm sorry? Well, good morning and welcome to the MAPS 3 Citizens Advisory Board meeting of June the 24th, 2021. Carol, I believe we have a quorum. We will call the meeting to order. You have been provided copies of the minutes of our previous meeting on May the 27th. Are there corrections or additions to the minutes? Shall we approve them?
I move approval.
Is there a second? Michael Adams is seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes are approved. Oh, we got a vote? Woo.
You vote on the screen.
Okay. All right, the minutes were approved. The motion passed. That brings us to item number 3A. David?
So you have in your packet the revenue expenditure report for the period ending May 31st, 2021. I'll go over it briefly. On the revenue side for the month, $5,696. Fiscal year of $1,204,974, and total $836,096,918. On the expenditure side, for the month, $2,906,735, fiscal year of $60,317,401, and total $739,298,645. Then you also have the budget and obligations report for the period ending June 7th, 2021. I'll try to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions for David? All right, it's been moved that we receive the report by Michael, seconded by Nathaniel. Is there further discussion? I just wanted to say, just remind us, David, the budget when we started this, the total that we had thought that we would receive was $777 million.
That's
and
correct.
We have received actually $836 million. That's got to be good news.
It is good news.
All right. The motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? Cast your vote. All right. The report has been received. That brings us to item B, change order number 40, David.
Item 3B is recommend approval of change order number 40, project M3-C003, MAPS 3 Convention Center, 100 Mick Cornett Drive, increase of $43,685, Ward 7. So still trying to finish up a couple of things, and as you recall, the ramps were approved, and this first item has to do with the ramps. There's $6,264, and that is to put terrazzo at the top of the south ramp. Once we got out there and started doing demo and looking at it, realized that it would make a better landing if the terrazzo matched that area rather than having carpet. Electrical modifications. So one of the things that has been delayed due to various reasons is the pylon signs. So there's 7 large pylon signs that go around in various places around the convention center, and they have 80-inch TVs in them as a display. And they were a bit of what we would call a performance specification, that the sign was to be this big and have all these things, and it wasn't exactly coordinated well with the electricity that was needed to run 2 TVs that are exterior, that get hot, that need fans and all the things. So we need to run some extra circuits out there. So keep in mind that there's 7 of them. So they're, $5,000 a piece. That's why it's $37,000. So that's the second item. Yes, sir. It is for the outside ones. If you go by there now, you'll see there's always been a concrete pad with some pipes sticking up. And that's where it was. Now they've got the support structure, and part of the pylon is in place. We anticipate that by the end of next week, the entire pylon will be built. We just need to get the proper electrical to all the components in there. So this comes with the approval from the subcommittee.
Questions for David? Shall we approve it? Zane has moved, we approve. It's been seconded by Michael Adams. Is there further discussion? Cast your vote. The motion has passed. That brings us then to item C, David, change order number 6.
Item C is recommend approval of change order number 6, projects M3C010, WC0979, DC0303, WC0970, PC0728, MAPS 3 South Robinson Avenue, reconstruction and resurfacing, waterline replacement, and storm sewer relief main, South Robinson Avenue between Oklahoma City Boulevard and I-40, an increase of $17,820.71, Ward 6 and 7. Technically, it's right there in the center of the street, so it's Ward 6 and 7. This is for curbing inside of what you presently see on that roundabout. So the roundabout has a stamped concrete apron that allows trucks to drive on that if they can't make the curve. But what we've been seeing is what we would consider some vandalism, some cars driving through the middle of the roundabout and trenching the turf in that area. So we'd like to put some curb right behind that stamped concrete that would prohibit them from driving onto that. It would also protect that area. I think the park wants to do some things in there to really dress that up as we finish. So this is for adding curb in that area. And this comes with the approval from the subcommittee.
Questions for David?
Which subcommittee?
From the convention center.
All right, it's been moved by Zane that we approve it. It's been seconded by Michael Adams. Is there further discussion? Cast your vote. The motion has passed. That brings us then, David, to item D under item 3.
Item D is recommend approval of change order number 2, project M3-H004, project MAPS 3 Senior Health and Wellness Center number 3, 3820 North Lincoln Boulevard, increase of $195,765.98 in Ward 7. So the big piece, well, the only piece in this is the parking lot and dumpster pad. So there's a piece of parking that's on the east side that also extends back to the service areas and where the dumpster pad is, access to the pool, and then service to food service in that area. Because of the Homeland construction there and the way the site is configured, we decided that it was best that Homeland not build that parking right now, because that's the point where the contractor needs to bring in all his structural steel, all his concrete, all those things. So instead of Homeland building that, we will build that parking in there. And we will build it at a later time once they finish the major pieces of the building. I don't know if it'll be right at the end, but it'll be towards the end when they're finished bringing cars and trucks, big trucks through. Then additionally, the original design did not have the heavy-duty paving in there or the dumpster pad. So we're adding the dumpster pad and the heavy-duty paving. Heavy-duty paving in this case goes from 5-inch paving to 7-inch paving, and that's where trucks drive. So your trash trucks, your delivery trucks, those kind of trucks, they're really hard on the paving, and that's where you see it rut. And then the dumpster pad is needed because when the dumpster pulls up, I'm sure you've all seen it right in front of dumpsters, you get those big ruts, and that's because the wheels are sitting there and it's picking up that load and and banging down on it. So we need concrete there and we need the heavy duty paving. The good news is that the contractor has not asked for a time extension and not asked for additional money on time to build the project. That's W.L. McNatt. W.L. McNatt is a quality contractor, and we're glad we're working with them. Those that were present at the wellness subcommittee approved moving this on. We did not have a quorum.
David, since we're paying for the parking and we're delaying doing it, who will own the parking, or is that to be shared? I mean, will that be the wellness center, or will that be Homeland that will own it?
It will be the city. The city is responsible for the parking area. Homeland has a lease on their building parcel, and then the wellness center essentially operates within its envelope. So the city in general has the parking.
Okay, great.
So this was a cost that Homeland was supposed to have incurred, and we're taking it on now?
It was a cost that was worked into the agreement. The city had an agreement with them on paying for the parking. So the city was paying for the parking regardless. It's just Homeland was constructing it.
So, but now MAPS 3 is taking it on as opposed to Public Works or whoever else.
It is, but remember MAPS 3 did put in money. All of our land acquisition and site prep money went into that since we didn't have to do site prep. So we're already involved in that transaction. Had we not done it this way and it had been done through the agreement, the city manager would no doubt have come to us and asked for this money because of that agreement.
Thank you.
All right, other questions for David? All right. Michael Dover has moved that we approve it. It's been seconded by Zane Boatright. Is there further discussion? Cast your vote. It passed. It's been approved. Let's move to item E, David.
Item E is recommend approval of change order number 7, project M3R008, MAPS 3 Whitewater Facility second floor renovation, 800 Riversport Drive, increase of $9,263.10 in Ward 7. We're doing a lot in Ward 7 today.
I noticed that there's just an awful lot of money being spent in Ward 7. They must have a great councilwoman.
So this, there's $6,878 for locker room floor modification. This is so that the locker room floor will be stained to match the adjacent new stained concrete flooring. And then as we were wrapping up the project, the fire marshal has requested 2 additional horn strobes to be installed in the southeast upper deck for about $2,400.
Questions for David?
David, does the fire marshal get involved in the design of these things? It seems like we've had several of these instances where at the very end they come in and there's modifications necessary, and I didn't know whether they're involved initially in the design and approval.
They're not well, it depends, Mr. Adams. So with a project as big as the convention center, we did bring them on very early to make sure that we didn't have issues. Some of these smaller ones, we send them in for approval and revisions, but we don't sit down and walk through them almost month to month. But this often happens because once you get out into the facility, it's easier to see these things rather than looking at them on paper. We had some other additions on the convention center, some exit signs that need to be added.
We've had several larger ones that came in seemingly at the last minute. I thought, well, I wonder why that wasn't designed into the process in the first place.
It's pretty common that it's oftentimes a matter of opinion on interpretation of the code or just belt and suspenders as far as life safety. And I think with life safety, you can't skimp and you can't go wrong with adding these things. So this just helps with that.
Further questions for David? Shall we approve it? Been moved by Nathaniel Harding and seconded by Zane Boatright that we approve item E, change order number 7 at the Whitewater facility. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. I'm sorry, cast your vote. It passed. That brings us then to item F.
So item F is recommend approval of amendment number 13, project M3G001, MAPS 3 Program Consultant Services Contract with ADG PC. Fee increase of $496,652.16, retroactive to July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. It says it has the retroactive clause because when it gets to council, it will be after the 1st. So this is the annual contract that ADG has had with us for many years for the services that they provide. You'll notice, if you remember, this is considerably less than the previous amendments because we're winding down in some areas. So what we have right now is a full-time person at the lower park who's out there with construction, who's an employee of ADG. We have ADG employees helping us with observation of construction at the wellness centers. They're still working on the Coliseum, which is part of MAPS 4, but it's being designed within MAPS 3, so the plan checking and meeting attendance and all that is still going on with this. And then we also have the additional trails and sidewalks that are coming up that we will need plan checking and those things on. So like I said, it's significantly less than it has been in previous years because we're winding down, but we still have some things going on. Mr. Cotton's here if you have any questions, or I'll try to answer any if you have on it.
Questions for David or for Jason? It's been moved by Zane Boatright that we approve it, seconded by Michael Adams. Cast your vote. That item is approved. Jason, I want to say to you how much we've appreciated the great job ADG has done for us for going on, 11 years now? You've been with us from the start. We really appreciate the great job you guys continue to do. Thank you. That brings us then to Roman numeral item 4, new business. David, you have any new business for us to consider?
No, sir, we do not.
Any member? All right, then, that brings us to item 5, the Citizens Advisory Board Subcommittee reports. We've heard from many of the subcommittees, but any subcommittee want to have any item for us to consider today? Okay. That brings us to item 6 then, David, the program manager report.
Real quickly, work continues at the lower park. Weather's kind of let up and letting them work, and you'll see some trails taking place, and they just planted 50 some odd trees out there this week, so starting to see some plantings. So that's going really well. Work at all 4 wellness centers. The groundbreaking for Wellness 4 is Tuesday, 10 a.m. Hope everybody can make that. Work continues at Wellness Center 3, and then the renovation work at Wellness Center 2 and Wellness Center 1 continue. Work wrapping up at the river, and then still some punch list things at the convention center, which is about it, Mr. Chairman, but still a lot of things going. Yes.
Other questions for David? Okay, so Tuesday at 10 a.m. For the groundbreaking on Senior Wellness Center number 4.
Yes, sir, and that's at Southwest 138th and Western.
All right. Any other questions for David? All right, then that brings us to another important item, item number 7, David, an informational item.
Right, so beginning next meeting, Dee Morales will be vice chair of this board.
This is just becoming an increasingly important job to be the vice chair as this drags on by the years. You know, some of us are not getting any younger, so this job is just getting bigger all the time for it to be the vice chair. I think Dee stayed home today to rest up for it. Okay. That brings us to item number 8, comments by board staff and citizens. Councilwoman Nice, I wanted to ask you if you would do something for us. I asked David to do this at the Convention Center Subcommittee. We had a wonderful event that you spoke, at which you spoke, where we dedicated the art piece for the Convention Center. And it was well attended. I wondered if you'd like to tell the rest of the board about that event. Do you mind doing that?
Well, since you put me on the spot, I'll talk about it.
I know you're used to it.
Well, I will say thank you to our Public Information Officer, Christy Yeager, as well as Robbie Kinzel. They were the young ladies that, I say young in humbleness, the young ladies that helped us to plan this event, and it was Virtual Sky Champagne Toast for the Convention Center. For those who have not seen the art piece, the art project from Susan Narduli, and she flew in from California, if I'm not mistaken. And there was another woman that came in. She was, I believe, the project manager that flew in from California as well to be a part of that. And to hear from the artist herself about the importance of the sky and the meaning in Oklahoma, and for her to use her art to depict what we will see, and people will come in visiting will also see, clearly means a lot. And I know we all interpret art differently. So when we see it, I see something different, and I know all of us, when we see it, will see something different as well. But one thing we will agree on is that it is a part of our fabric, and it is the most expensive piece, if I'm not mistaken, of our art collection for our city. So it is a beautiful piece of work. And again, we are extremely excited that we were able to have Susan Narduli in Oklahoma City to be with us to toast to her piece of art. So again, when you have folks come in to our city, please point in that direction first, because that's the most expensive piece of art we have, and we want to show it off as much as we can. So I'll say that. Thank you for the opportunity, and if you don't mind, I do want to also say that congratulations for our ribbon cutting that we had for the Ski OKC and the second level renovation in that area as well. It looks beautiful. The view is amazing. And I know our community and our city and those who come from outside of our city will love that and treasure it just as much as we do here. So thank you.
Agreed. Thank you. Any other comments?
Tom,
Mike?
Tom, I have a question for David. David, now that the city is operating Wellness Center number 2 for the upcoming year, do you happen to know, is there a plan for the city to continue to do that? Or will there be another RFP go out at some point this year for looking for another different partner?
I don't know the process that they're looking at, but I do know that they are looking for an operator. It's never been the intent for the city to operate them. I can find that out for you though and get it to you.
Any other questions or comments? Yes.
At the Park Commission meeting the other day, they had a discussion about that, and the Park Commission had indicated they were looking forward to operating it for a while because it was an opportunity to train their staff to prepare to operate the Willa Johnson facility, which will be a city-operated facility. So they were looking forward to that and using that as a training opportunity for their staff, but they do intend to find an operator at some point. I don't know what the process is.
Well, you know, as we look at the plans for 3 and 4, it seems as though the model seems to be getting more than one entity. I mean, having an operator that has partners to do different aspects of it, and it may be, that may be the model going forward. I guess we didn't have that at 1. We just had an operator with whom we signed an agreement, but it looks as though they're trying to form partnerships that can deal with each phase of the operation of the Senior Wellness Center. Mike, is that what you all are seeing? Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, staff, any staff member have a question?
No,
Or
sir.
a comment? Do we have citizens here that want to be heard today? Hearing none, then that brings us to item number 9, time for adjournment. Just prior to adjournment, I want to thank each one of you for making the effort to be here today. We have a great track record of being able to move our information and resolutions forward to the city council, and we've been doing this for a long time now, and it takes a lot of personal commitment on each of your parts, and I want to just say a personal word of thank you for making the effort to be here in person today. So thank you. If there's no further business, we're adjourned.